Cool. Yay, we're live on YouTube. Also, hey, hey, hey. Fantastic. Let me just turn my Mac on Do Not Disturb so that we can really settle into this moon. And oh, that's right. Sorry, I was trying to think of, can I do music? I don't know if I can do music. But that's okay. We will figure something else out instead. So, welcome to the Leo full moon. Hello. Hi. This is an interesting moon. I planned to go live this morning, my time, but wowee. I was not expecting this moon to hit me so hard and right in the sweet spot of personal relationships. So I kind of got smacked. Hi, I see you there. um, yeah, I kind of got whacked pretty hard. So I had to take a step back. I am as human as they come. And, when big emotions rise up in us, it really takes a lot of energy to move with it, right? And steer your ship on those stormy seas. So I really appreciate your understanding and your patience and your flexibility with me. I'm so grateful to this community and to be able to still come on now that I'm feeling more settled energetically and share with all of you the energy of this moon. So, speaking of, just based on my experiences today, if you are having stuff come up for you, if you're having really big emotions come up for you, just know you're normal. Know that that's okay. Know that the energies are really just trying to illuminate and bring to light something that you need to see. And it can be really hard to see those things sometimes. So be patient and compassionate with yourself, and have a lot of grace. Have a lot of grace as well, because you're learning. We all are learning and trying to get better every day. So with that, I'm just going to pull up my agenda here so that I can go through this ritual. I wanted to try something a little different. For those of you who've been around a while and maybe have tuned into a full moon ritual before, this is going to be a little bit different. For those of you, this is your first time tuning in. You won't know any difference, so it's all good. But essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to briefly talk about this moon, why it's important. Why are we talking about moons in the first place on a creative support community, right? And then we're going to go through some journal prompts, which you are welcome to do with me, or you can do on your own time after the ritual. They are posted and available on my Instagram at awaken.creators if you want the text of the prompts. But then also we're going to pull some cards, because tarot cards are one of my absolute favorite ways to really get in touch with my inner world, get in touch with God universe and my spirit and my soul. And I really wanted to ask some questions live and get your perspective as well on a few topics, and then we'll see what Spirit has to say about those very things. So, to have the most successful time with this ritual, I hope that you are in a place where you feel safe, where you feel like you have a moment of time to connect, We're going to do a tiny bit of breath work, and I have my tuning forks as well that we will just attune with. I'm going to light a candle. I've got this Palo Santo candle because I can't really burn my sage or my Palo Santo in the place that I'm living right now. So I have a candle that's scented with Palo Santo that I use instead. So yeah, if you also want to have a journal nearby, you can, or again, you can work on the prompts after, on your own time afterwards. So let's just kind of start by getting ourselves centered. Maybe do some shoulders slowly back. Just take some deep breaths. Nice and slow. Just slow everything down. Slow life down. Slow your obligations down. Slow your body down. Slow your emotions down. Slow everything down. Maybe you place your hands on your heart or with your palms facing upward on your lap. And you just give yourself permission to be here in this moment. Really breathing into the present moment, a nice deep breath into the belly. Holding at the top and release. Sigh it out. Let's do that again. Big deep breath into the belly. Holding at the top and release. And one last time, really sinking in, deep breath into the belly. Holding and release. Just returning to normal breathing pattern now. And I like to rock myself back and forth. It makes me feel really safe. Like I said at the beginning, full moons may bring stuff up for you. Stuff may hit the fan, right? Emotions get really big sometimes when a full moon comes to town. And the purpose is not for us to feel persecuted or punished or to put a spotlight on our flaws, but rather to gift us an opportunity to reflect, to introspect, and to really allow ourselves to open up to a change, a transformation, if we are ready for it. And we may or may not be ready for it at that time. But a full moon is always going to reveal and bring something to the forefront that you need to see, that God universe wants you to see. So it may be like, for me, it may be an aspect of your personal relationships, which makes complete sense because Leo as an archetype is ruling over romance and love. But for you, it may be something totally different. It could be bringing to light something regarding your career, your creativity, your creative expression. It could be bringing to light emotions related to your children and your relationships with your children. Leo is responsible for a lot of those energies archetypically. Okay, so when we're dealing with a full moon in this sign, it behooves us to pay attention to those archetypes, those energies, and see how it applies to us. And this is really why I love to talk about lunar energies in this community. First of all, because I love it. And yeah, I'm a little witchy, and I'm sure a lot of you are as well if you're around and you resonate with that. But primarily, it's because, in my experience, when we make use of the energetics that are going on cosmically, it can really transport us more quickly to where it is that we want to go in terms of personal transformation, rather than just having a lot of emotions coming up and not really understanding or knowing where they're coming from, or blaming ourselves, or blaming the reflections on the outside that are bringing it to light, like our spouses or our coworkers or our boss, whoever. We, in knowing where the energies are right now, it empowers us to truly understand and work with what's going on. So, this is why I really encourage us all to, especially during full moons, to do a lot of reflecting and introspecting, which is why the journal prompts present themselves naturally at a full moon. Whereas in a new moon, we do a lot more affirmations and seed planting and manifesting. But full moons are really about the fullness, the illumination of something, the revelation of an aspect of our lives that needs to be dealt with. And so we are going to talk about how Leo energy might be useful when it comes to understanding our creative journeys. So, some of the topics that I want to cover with us today, and I really want to hear from you what your current perception is of these things. The ideas of pride, right? In modern pop astrology, Leo really gets a bad rap as far as being proud or being self centered. But I really want to challenge you today to think about pride in a different way. And we're going to explore a journal prompt related to that. So, already, if you are available and willing to chat, I want to know how you currently perceive the concept of pride. What words come to mind when you think about pride? Does it inherently feel negative or positive to you? Do you have, associations or memories that come up related to someone who you felt was very proud, either in a way that felt good or maybe not so much? Pride, do you feel a lot of pride for a certain relationship or individual in your experience, a child or even yourself, right? So start already thinking about that energy, the energy of pride. And in my experience, and I am a Leo sun, so I definitely remember growing up feeling like I really wanted to shine. I loved attention. I loved performing. I would do little voices and dances for my parents, and I was like, look at me. Um, and there was some messaging that I got related to that really kind of shut down my expressiveness, right? That I'm too much, or that I should be less trying to get attention, or that being proud of what I've done is maybe not such a good thing. So, what are maybe some of your experiences that you have had related to pride? You don't necessarily have to answer this out loud or in the comments, but just start thinking, let the wheels start turning. Because when it comes to our creative expression, it's really important that I'm learning to have pride in our work. And it's not about being egotistical. It has nothing to do with thinking you're better than anyone else. It has nothing even to do with feeling like your skill set is at its peak. But it's about really acknowledging how far you've come and what you are capable of. So Wings of Jewels says, pride in my work, aka my art. Yes, absolutely. Right. And in thinking about pride in your work and in your creative expression, what messaging have you received? And I'm going to start I'm going to start shuffling the cards because I want to get a card for each of these concepts. We're going to talk about 3 of them. We're going to talk about pride, unconditional love, and creative expression itself, because those are very Leo energies. But yeah, so thinking about pride in your creative works, do you feel proud of your creative expressions? Do you feel proud of the work you've produced so far? When you complete something, do you feel proud of it, or do you wait for others to tell you you deserve to be proud? Do you hold your breath, so to speak, until someone buys your work to feel proud of it? Do you feel like being proud of your work isn't allowed because then maybe it's a bad thing? Maybe you won't strive to improve if you allow yourself to be proud of what you've done, right? So there is a lot of messaging in there that can kind of get in the way. And so I do really want to take a moment and I want to ask Spirit about pride. I want to ask God, universe, the angels, what is it that we should know about pride to understand it more completely? What do we need to come to understand and illuminate in our understanding during this full moon in Leo about the true essence of pride? Ooh. Okay. So we got the 4 of Wands. I'm going to show you that. And this is just like a traditional Rider-Waite tarot, making sure YouTube folks can see it too. So that's interesting. So we have the 4 of Wands. And it's funny too. If you really look closely at this card, you can see the individuals in it. I'm going to show it to both parties here. They look pretty proud, right? They're hoisting their flowers in the air. There's a celebratory nature to this card. And what I'm already hearing and feeling is that pride is really about acknowledging the alignment of energies. So what I mean by that is when you create something, when you create a work, a piece of art that you were so aligned, you enjoyed immensely. You enjoyed making it. You enjoyed the conceptualization of it. You enjoyed the process. And now, it is complete. Pride is like the natural celebratory energy after expressing and being so aligned and being so in tune. It's almost like our higher selves is cheering us, like, you did it, yay, you really knocked it out the park with that one. You were so in tune, you enjoyed every moment of it, you were so present making it, like, no matter what it is or what it looks like at the end, like, you were there, yay. And it's us really celebrating that with our higher selves, our true essence, our heart, right? Our soul, and being able to acknowledge that, yes, we were in the groove. We were in the flow. We felt it. And that should be celebrated. Having pride is like bragging, a negative association. Yeah. Right? But these individuals that Spirit is trying to show us, they're not bragging. they're celebrating. So maybe this is the shift. We can perceive pride as a form of celebration. And the degree to which we feel proud is correlated with the degree to which we were in full and complete alignment with our heart and soul as we created. And I really feel like that there's something there to that. To truly, truly have soaked it all up from start to finish, we should be proud. We should absolutely be proud of ourselves as awakened creators for truly being with it, being one with it. So this I love the cards because of this. This truly leads into the first prompt, which says, what creative project are you most proud of? And why does your soul appreciate that project? So, if you have a journal, you are more than welcome to journal on this. Or if you want to just in quiet contemplation, reflect on it where you're at internally, you can. But what creative project, with this reframing in mind, right, of celebration, of alignment, what creative project are you most proud of? And why does your soul appreciate that project? And if you're not, I'm going to give you a moment to reflect on that. But if you're not sure how to answer the second question, if you're not sure, how do I ask my soul why? Really, you just get in touch here with your heart, okay? And if you're not sure how to do that, or you'd like a guide to do that, that's what the heart alignment ritual guide is. That's free. You can find it in the description on the YouTube video and also in my profile on Instagram. But you can download the guide and I will show you how to really get in tune with your soul so that you can ask questions like that. But what creative project are you most proud of? And why does your soul appreciate that project? And I'm just answering the question internally for myself. All right. And if you feel inclined to share your response, you are more than welcome to. But I am going to proceed to the next topic. So we got this card, the Four of Wands. Make some space here. Uh-oh. Siri thought I talked to her. No, Siri, I didn't. All right. Oh, great. All of them, because they are all a testament to my perseverance. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you shared that because we spend a lot of time, or we can, focusing on an outcome or some kind of like crowning, maybe that like a gatekeeper will do, selling so many pieces or getting a book published or, having a agent or some kind of external confirmation. It's okay to be proud now, right? But wherever you are at in your creative journey, even if you're right at the beginning, and you don't have a large body of work to reflect on, you can even still just reflecting back on your whole life up to that point and recognize your perseverance and the fact that you've made it through all that crap in your life. And I'm assuming you're human too, and you've probably gone through some stuff that was really hard, and yet you're here. And if you have a body of work to look back on, you can probably see, and maybe this is even some homework, pull as much of it out as you can and try to put it in chronological order and actually look at your progress. Like, look at it. Look at how much you've produced. Even if, maybe it's too much to go through or you don't have time, but even just like setting it out and realizing, oh my God, I've been doing this since I was like in third grade, and you are still here getting better and better and better. Like, that is something to be proud of. Absolutely. And I think that's the perfect segue into the next concept that I feel like the Leo archetype is really illuminating right now, which is the idea of unconditional love. Because let me tell you, trying to understand love in like the structures of our society and the messaging and programming we receive from media can be really difficult. And we may or may not have very good role models with regards to what unconditional love looks like. It's typical that a lot of folks experience conditions to love. If you do X, then I will love you. Maybe you receive this messaging from a parent. If you get good grades, then I love you. If you perform better than your brother or sister, then I'll love you. If you make a lot of money, then you'll be loved, right? We see those messages all the time on television. If you can afford this car, or if your body is shaped this way, then you'll be loved. There's all of these conditions. And when it comes to our creative journey, OMG, do we hear a lot of conditions? Okay. First and foremost, we get messaging that even following the creative journey is a condition that exempts us from love. You're only lovable if you follow a real job, or if you go down this career path. But if you choose art, family's not going to approve. You're a disgrace. You're going to be poor. All these things, right? So we get a lot of conditional messaging when it comes to what we love as creators, which is just expressing ourselves. So when you're talking about getting conditional messaging about wanting to express yourself, what do you feel like that's saying? The true expression of who I am is not lovable. Share with me, if you are willing, how do you currently perceive unconditional love? Is it this crazy concept that doesn't make any sense because maybe you feel like you've never experienced it before, that love always comes with conditions? Is it something that you feel towards a certain person in your life, or maybe a pet, that you kind of understand it, you kind of feels familiar to you going outwards, but maybe you don't feel it coming back? And what about your love of what you're creating? Do you feel unconditional love for your creations, or do you put conditions on them? Do you say to your art, to your creations, I will only love you if you get picked up by a publisher? I will only love you if someone buys you. And then when that doesn't happen and you look at your body of work and you think it's unlovable, I'm not good enough, I haven't sold anything, nobody likes my stuff, where is that, where is that internally happening also? Where are you putting conditions on love within yourself? Where are you putting conditions on love of your creativity? So while you contemplate that, I'm going to ask Spirit again to illuminate our understanding with a tarot card with regard to unconditional love. How can we come to better understand and grasp unconditional love? Whoa, that card went flying. Oh, look at the Fool. It's the Fool. Look at that Fool. Doesn't look like a fool to me. It looks like somebody really at the start of their journey. I'm going to show YouTubers here. The Fool. Okay. So let's tune into this. Let's tune into this. Why are you showing us the Fool when it comes to unconditional love? Why are you showing us the Fool? So I sense and hear that this is about the journey. This is about being allowed the opportunity to exist in the physical form, to experience this life, to go on the journey that we wanted to go on, to go for the dream, the life, the experience, the adventure that our soul truly wanted to experience in this life. And that allowing is an act of love. Oh, I feel it. So those of you who have children might relate to this a little bit more. But there's an energy with parenting a child where you allow the child the space to explore life, right? So rather than try to cage them in or keep them super protected and all that stuff, like you provide a safe space in which they can explore and probably get into a little bit of mischief, right? But no matter what happens, I'm picturing my son, he's 7, playing in the backyard. Okay, I've given him this space. It's fenced in, it's protected by my love, but he's permitted to just, in this playground of life, explore and get a little messy and play in the mud and see what things are. And yeah, he'll probably break something and, or make a mess of his clothes. But that allows really an act of unconditional love. And I feel like God Universe is reminding us as awakened creators that we've been permitted to go for what we want, to explore life the way we want, and pursue our love, pursue what we desire. Unconditional love means acceptance of myself, regardless of my mistakes and choices. Yeah. And that totally, I think that totally makes sense in the imagery that I'm receiving about the child playing, right? When you unconditionally love, it's like no matter if he comes back and his brand new sneakers are completely covered in like 6 inches of mud, I'm gonna still love him. I'm gonna still love him. I'm gonna still love him, and I may have to hose him down in the backyard, and maybe I even get a little ticked off if I'm not in the best of moods, but I still love him. And no matter our mistakes, no matter our choices, because the Fool has a lot of choices. I mean, the potential in this archetype of the Fool is completely unlimited. No matter what, we're loved, and the sun is shining down upon us. The archetype, the not planet, but the star that rules the sign of Leo, the sun, the energy of love still shines upon us. And so, how can we start to look at our creativity and our creative journey as an opportunity to explore, to make mistakes, and yet still be loved? And that can be tough, right? That can be tough. But I want you to contemplate the prompt for this topic, because I think that it really sits at the heart of everything that Awakened Creators does. And if there was only one takeaway, like in my entire existence, on my tombstone, it reads, I hope you unconditionally loved yourself and your life. Like, I hope you loved your life. I hope that your life fulfilled you. That's why I want everyone who feels called in their heart and soul to create, no matter what it is, what medium, I do not care. I want you to love your life. And I feel like God Universe wants you to love your life too, unconditionally, and stop judging yourself for wrong turns you've perceived that you've made and all of that. So the journal prompt asks, where do you sense pockets of conditional love in your creative practice? So I want you to think about your creative practice. Maybe you see yourself setting up. Maybe you see yourself conceptualizing an idea, a creative idea. Maybe you see yourself at an art show. Where do you sense little pockets of conditions? Like, oh, I better sell something at this art show, or I don't know, this was a big mistake. Or maybe it's as you're setting up and you're already putting conditions on your creative expression, like, you better get to chapter 3 today. You better write so many words. You know, this really better be good. Where are you sensing there's little pockets of conditions on the love you have for your creative expression? Become aware of those. Become aware of them. Awareness is the first step to transformation. When we illuminate these dark corners of our psyche, we can start to really transmute them into our strengths, right? And we do that by applying love. We always add more love. Always add more love. You can always add more love to a situation, to a perception, to a relationship. You can always add more love. And your relationship with yourself is first and foremost the most important one that I want you to be thinking about in this Leo full moon. Where do you sense pockets of conditional love in your creative practice? And what is your ego telling you is true there? Okay? Because our ego is always trying to convince us of something. It's usually untrue as far as the capital T truth of our soul goes. But our ego is always kind of trying to convince us of something. So when you think about that condition that you place on the love you have for your creative process or your projects or you yourself as the creator, What is your ego trying to convince you? And I'm going to share with you something that I learned during my hiatus. I was a busy spiritual bee during this time. I enrolled in a 30-day ritual program with an absolute angel who I love, Brie Melanson. If you don't follow her already on Instagram, you need to. She's an incredibly intuitive channel. She is so in alignment. And I one day would love to interview her on the Awakened Creators podcast or something, because she's incredible. And she has great breath work too. If you like breath work, you'll love Brie. So Brie Melanson. And she had this 30-day ritual thing going on during January. So I did it. And every day I had to wake up and journal and say my affirmations and meditate and whatever. And I went through this thing. And one of the things she taught us is that the ego is always giving you if-then statements, right? So you can identify ego. If you're telling yourself, and if I blank, then I can have blank, that is your ego talking. Like, warning, warning, that's ego, because soul does not talk like that. Soul doesn't give you conditions. Soul is this sun. Even in Spanish, right? Sol, sol. This is the soul, the sun, the archetype. Okay? These things are not coincidences, folks. So, what is your ego saying about that conditional aspect of your creative process? What is your ego trying to say? If I sell something, then I'm a good artist. If I write 20 pages, then I'm a writer, a real writer. What conditions are you putting on your creative expression? Illuminate that. Bring that to the light. Your awareness is the first step to transformation. Where is your ego telling you if-then statements about your capacity to be lovable as a creator, or your creations deserving your love? I'll let you sit with that for just a moment, because we're going to move into the third and final topic of today's full moon ritual. And that is itself creative expression. The expression of soul, right? And our motivation for wanting to create. Okay. There are some, and of course, I'm not going to name names, but I've known a few folks in my time who created art, and it seemed to me that it was just purely an ego thing. Maybe they were a writer because they thought it made them look smart, and they wanted to appear intelligent and intellectual, right? Maybe you've run into one of these folks in your life, or an artist who talks big words that nobody understands about their art, and it's like, I don't know. It feels like they're way up here, and I wonder, are they really working from a soul motivation when it comes to their creative expression? Okay, so when you think about your reasons for creating, and I'm not even saying, like, I know that there have been times where I've created because I wanted to get published. I wrote a story because I thought that it would sell, or I thought that, that's what the market wants, I've been there, done that, and it did not feel fulfilling. Not as fulfilling as the pieces I'm proud of. And I'm proud of them, right? Because they were aligned and I was moving in alignment as I created them. So when it comes to your creative expression, And be honest, okay? I'm going to be very honest with you after I say this. How do you currently perceive that? Why are you creating? What is your motivation? And maybe it's all over the place, right? Maybe you are creating because you feel it deep within you needs to come out. Maybe you're creating because you want to heal something. Maybe you are creating because you literally want to make money. You want to be successful in such and such area. Like, what is you feel like currently? How do you currently perceive creative expression and motivation? Where is that fire coming from within you? And if you're willing to share, I would like you to share. But while you think about sharing and while you share, I'm going to share. And I'm going to tell you why I left in December. I left because I realized that I had been pushing myself so hard, creating content from a place of I have to prove I can run a business. I have to prove I can make money outside of a regular 9 to 5 job, right? Again, we hear the ego. If I do this, then I can believe in myself. I can be respected and considered competent in my field. My family will better support me. So I was putting a lot of conditions on the creation of content for awakened creators specifically. I wasn't putting as many conditions on my art. My art was actually like a safe space for me to just kind of be. And like Wing of Jewels says, create to express myself because I love the act of creating it. Like totally, right? My art is totally in that realm. But when it came to creating content, or maybe for you, when it comes to creating as far as your small business is concerned, or maybe you run a website, or maybe, you have more sort of administrative duties when it comes to your creativity, we can switch to now it's no longer about just creating to enjoy the act of it. And now it has all these other motivations, right? And pressures, really. So, Soulbreaker, hi. To express at first, but more now to share a message I can't necessarily verbalize or articulate. Oh, that's great. Yeah, our creativity is absolutely a channel for expressing the unexpressible, right? I sometimes as a writer feel crippled by words, and that's why I love also visual art, because I can say a lot of things in my paintings that I can't really, like, I don't know, I can't articulate it quite as well with the written form. um So, as I said, I did this ritual thing. So I realized, okay, my motivation is all effed up. I really got to rethink. I really got to realign. So I signed up with Bree. I did this 30-day thing. I really got into deep alignment with my heart and soul. And I realized that expressing from soul is truly the greatest. Like, if you only had one intention your whole life, one thing that you wanted to manifest, I beg of you, manifest soul alignment with who you are beyond this physical form, and everything else will be covered in that. Relationships, success in career, material things that you desire, and that's cool. Desire them. Here we are in 3D. Enjoy life. But if you focus only and primarily on alignment with soul, alignment with heart, all of that stuff will fall into place automatically. You don't have to tell the universe, I want this, and I would like to make this much, and I would like to do that. You can just like I'm going to be in alignment with my highest and greatest expression. I want to be in alignment. I want to create art from that alignment. I want to love people from that alignment. I want to run my business from that alignment. I want to place. Yeah. Oops, sorry. My setup here is wonky. It's on my bed. I'm a writer too, and I sometimes feel limited by words, and then I turn to painting. Oh, totally. I'm right there with you. I actually switch days. I'm like, okay, that's enough writing. I need to go paint. Okay, that's enough painting. I need to go write. So yeah, so soul alignment. Oh, oh, that's a great one. So I didn't even have to ask. Spirit's already King of Wands. And this is so perfect. This is the Leo archetype in the tarot. Man, I tell ya, you really just can't make this stuff up. This is why I love tarot. So we're talking about creative expression. We're talking about soul motivation. Spirit says, King of Wands. King of Wands. Embody King of Wands. So this is what it is. Our divine masculine, which we all have, divine feminine and divine masculine energies within us, the highest vibration is what I mean when I say divine. So not social programming about what it means to be masculine, blah, blah, blah. Highest vibration of masculine energy, our drive, our will, the energy we use to push forward, to move through life. Spirit's saying, King of Wands, that you want to express yourself creatively from the soul, you embody King of Wands energy. And who's the King of Wands? Who's the King of Wands? If you are into color and you understand the chakras as well, his feet, mind you, he has green shoes. Nothing in tarot is happenstance, by the way. Everything is symbolic. He's got green on his feet, which to me symbolizes that his movement through life, our feet, the vehicles through which it carries him, are heart chakra. They're heart chakra. He's letting this guide him. That's what's moving his feet, not his head, like we're told that masculine energy is all logic, or it's all solar plexus, right? It's all just go, 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 right? No rest for the weary. Don't ever sleep. It's like hustle culture. It's gross, right? King of Wands is saying, nah, it's heart chakra driven. I wear the heart chakra. I walk with heart chakra. I move through life with heart chakra. Okay. And what else here? It's about being adaptable. It's about moving. Yeah, there's also a stillness here because it's an assuredness, right? When we are motivated by soul, we have nothing left to prove. We have nothing left to prove. There is no if-then statement because I'm already doing what I know I need to do. I'm already acting from my heart. I'm already moving through life from my center. I don't have to prove to you anything, right? I don't have to be anything. I get to just be me, and I get to, move through life with great ease and confidence in that way and without an ounce of comparison. Okay. So when you think about a soul motivated creative expression, when you think about expressing your creativity from the soul's motivation. What is it that your soul really wants to experience through your creative expression, right? Because we're talking soul motivation. Our souls have a motive. This is why we come here. Full, right? We come here into the playground. Sun is watching over us. God universe is like, here you go. Here you go. What do you want to do? You can do anything. What do you want to do? So when you connect with and align with soul, what motivation does it have for creatively expressing itself? And I really, really would love if you would share in the comments what you feel about this. Why does your soul want to create? Why? Why would a soul want to incarnate as a human and make art? Whatever it is that you express. Why would a soul want to come to earth and be a fashion designer? Why would a soul want to come to earth and be a writer? Why? Tune in and ask, why? Why does your soul want to do that? Sorry, I realized I scrolled up. I missed some comments. Wing of Jewels says, I love the idea of manifesting soul alignment before anything else. It was a game changer for me. I tell you, I was like, oh, it's one of those duh moments, like, oh, that's what I have to do, right? And I have the heart alignment guide. I'm like, Amanda, you teach this, like, you know this. Why aren't you doing it for like the greater whole of your life? I'm like, well, I was applying it to my art making. I wasn't really applying it to my business or my relationships. And now I am, and I'm experiencing tremendous transformation. Hence the postponement of this live, because I was dealing with some of the lesser fun reflections of, things I still have to let go because I'm human. Love, that's the first word that came through from me. Yeah, why does your soul want to create? Love. Period. Love, period. I'm going to actually, so this is my little Awakened Creators Journal. And I used this for the 30-day ritual. And back on day 1, or actually it was the pre-work, we were asked, why would your soul want to do this? And I'm going to share mine. Where is it? Okay, so there's kind of a few things. What becomes one? Okay, so why do I desire this? So that I enjoy every moment living my life to its fullest. That's a soul motivation, right? To just live. To live life. To enjoy life. Like we ask so much, we demand so much in society of life, when really I feel my soul just wants to live, just exist and create and love things and smell a flower for no other reason than it smells good, and to just enjoy, to be in joy, right? Soulbreaker says passion. Yeah. Passion. Ooh, that's so King of Wands. Passion. That, that zest, that feeling when you connecting. Oh, it's good, right? It's so good. It feels good. Okay. Which is awesome. That is so Leo archetype, by the way, too. Passion. It's fire sign. It's all about that. It's all about that connecting, love. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I also mentioned because I want to feel like a kid again, right? I want to feel like a kid again. I want to just be. This is all coming together because we were talking about that metaphor with the unconditional love of the kid playing in the backyard, right? Like to be a kid again, to just explore and wow, look at that, and be inspired by everything. And then express all of that love and appreciation you have for life itself through your art. To say, like, this is what I saw. So, absolutely. Absolutely. Was there a second prompt to that journal prompt? Oh, yeah. Okay. So the second part to that journal prompt, what does your soul truly want to experience through your creative expression? And getting really clear on that's important, okay? Because that's going to redirect you when you feel like you're getting led down a path that doesn't feel as aligned. For example, say, okay, you're like, yes, my soul's motivation for doing this is feeling like a kid again. And then you go to an art show and you're feeling good about it, la la. And then you notice like everyone's going to the person's stand next to you and like no one's coming to yours, and you're trying to feel good about yourself still. Like, I'm kind of enjoying myself, but also like, don't you want to see my art too? And then you start you feel that energy starting to veer away from your soul alignment. Okay. So understanding what it feels like to be aligned, what your soul's motivation is going to remind you when you're off track, when you're out of alignment. And it's going to tell you how to get back into alignment. Feel like a kid again. Maybe that honestly means you leave your booth, you go check out what's everybody looking at. Oh, it's cool, make a friend. Maybe that person is the link to the next step on your journey. Like, kids are so free to just like be buddies immediately. Like, I take my kid to the park and all of a sudden he's got 5 best friends, right? It's like, you don't really know these people, but no, you can't convince him. They're his best friends. And we kind of forget that as we get older. And this leads me to the second part of the prompt. How can your actions start allowing that soul motivation to come through? From the point of that soul motivation, whether it's love, passion, to feel like a kid again, to just enjoy life. If you were going to take an action from those points of motivation, what would you do? Would you sulk in your art tent and like glare at the other person? No, that's an action that's not in alignment with your soul's motivation. And I'm not trying to discount emotions. Like, it's okay that stuff's coming up. The fact that it's coming up, though, is to free you from it. It's not to say you are that. It's not to like see how sad and pathetic you are. God universe is never trying to like show off that you suck. It's all love. It doesn't feel that way because you're out of alignment with your soul. That's why it feels icky. That's why it feels gross. So we tune back in and we learn the practices, whether it's breath work or heart alignment, and we learn how to re-engage with our soul's motivation for creating. And from that place of alignment, then we act. Soulbreaker says, I needed to hear that. Yay. I'm so glad you're here. Creating, Wing of Jewels says, creating without expectations or pressures or worrying about the perfect outcome. Yeah. So those are your actions, right? When you're driven from soul motivation, the actions that Wing of Jewels is saying is you start creating without expectation. You stop putting so much pressure on yourself. You stop worrying about a perfect outcome and you just enjoy doing it. You just enjoy being there. You just allow the experience to surprise you and open yourself up to maybe making a friend or discovering something new that inspires you, or, allowing yourself the opportunity to just be where you're at. Give yourself permission to be where you're at. Soulbreaker says that's when I make the best. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, for me, one of the motivations I feel for Awakened Creators' mission to get all of us creators, regardless of what medium we're in, to align with our soul and create from that place is because the world needs creations, media, fashion design, movies, music, art, books that are all coming from that aligned place. Can you imagine a world with me where all the media and art that exists came from a soul aligned place instead of an ego, instead of a money hungry place, instead of a patriarchal place, instead of a manipulative place? But all of the art in the world starts coming from the soul of artists like you. I got chills too. I got goosebumps. I'm telling you, this is the power. This is what we are doing. You are creative for a reason. What you're doing is not arbitrary. It is not just a fucking hobby. It is important. You are changing the world. You are literally changing the world. And you're doing it by aligning with your heart. You're doing it by coming from your soul when you create. You're doing it by inspiring others to do the same. And the more and more and more we do that, the better and better and more loving, the more love, energy, and vibrations exist in the world. And that's what it's all about. Goes back to what Wing of Jewels said, that motivation, love, period. Just love. Just love. It's just love. It's just love. Oh, yes, that is absolutely your soul talking. Okay. So I'm not going to, we're not going to pause and do the creative prompt. I'm just going to mention it because obviously we all work in different mediums and art can't be rushed. But I do really want you to encourage you, if you enjoy these full moon journal prompts, I really want to encourage you to do the creativity prompt as well. I understand that there may be some restriction as far as, supplies and things like that go. So don't go, spend $1 million on a canvas to do the prompt unless you feel inclined to. But just maybe in a sketchbook or, if you have, photography, just go for a little walk. And I want you to think about redefining pride in a way that supports the celebration of you. And I put you in capital Y, okay? Because I'm talking about the soul you. I'm not talking about the flesh and form with all the stories and all of the baggage and all of the, things we're still, our humanness that we're still just kind of processing. But when you align with your soul and your soul's motivation and you redefine pride, being proud of oneself, I want you to express that new definition through your art. Okay. Again, in whatever medium works for you. So, maybe you take a picture of your child showing off their Play-Doh creation, and you want to, because you want to remember that pride for you means feeling like a kid again. Okay. So just throwing out some ideas. You guys are creative geniuses. Let your expression go wild. So redefine pride in a way that supports a celebration of you, who you truly are as a soul, and your soul's motivation for creating. And if you do end up creating something and posting it on social, I would love if you would tag We Are Awakened Creators, so that when we search for that, we can show it. We can literally, put it on the stories, share you with the community. I really want others to see the incredible inner work that is going on with you and the people that are a part of this family. So make sure you tag Awaken Creators in some kind of way when you do that. What a moon. What a moon. Leo, full moon. Okay, so let's decompress for just a moment. Let's take a few cleansing breaths, and I want to leave you with some post stuff. So just placing our hands on our hearts once again, and taking a big deep breath into the belly, soaking up all the goodness that you felt today, holding it in and letting it out. And I really hope you felt the love today, because I felt the love. I felt the love. I so appreciate your feedback and your interaction and your comments and your engagement. It feels so good. It really does. Like, I just want to talk to my friends. I want to talk to the people I care about, and that includes you. So your post work for this moon is whatever you feel like you need to do today, tonight, wherever, whatever time it is where you're at, to really integrate what we've talked about. Do it. Whether that's you take a bath or you spend some more time more deeply journaling the prompts, or you break out your paints and you start exploring the creativity prompt, or maybe you just go for a walk. Maybe you just don't do anything specific. You just kind of wander and feel the feeling. I hope that if you enjoyed this experience, you will share it, like it, do whatever. You can watch the replay on YouTube. And if you're interested in manifesting this alignment, your creative dream life, on the new moons, we're going to basically we're going to go live again. Okay. Every moon, new moon, full moon. Full moons, we're doing all this reflecting, but new moons, I really want us to start being very intentional about helping each other manifest our goals. And that means sharing our intentions, affirming them verbally for each other, and using our group energy, because this is the power of the internet that maybe some don't want to acknowledge. But we know that when we get together, when we turn our heart lights on, and we're all tuned into the same thing, and we're all affirming for each other out loud, using our voice and our power to make manifest the life and the world that we want to live in, we can do it. So if you're not already, hit the bell so that you know when we go live or something. Make sure you do that so you don't miss the new moon. Because this new moon in Pisces, we're really going to start seeding some soulful intentions for this year. Okay. So don't worry if you're 2023, you haven't done your resolutions or whatever the heck we're supposed to be doing. Use this new moon, the new moon in Pisces, to plant those seeds. Okay. So come back for the new moon ritual. Bring your intentions and manifestations with you, and we will affirm them for each other. And we will engage in sisterhood, brotherhood, neighborhood, familyhood, all of that good stuff, connection. That's what the world needs. So thank you so much for being here. I love you, love you, love you. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye for now.